Welcome back to another episode of the Left Agora. My name is Akif, and today I'm joined by Marcel Bauer, a member of Bundestag, the German parliament, representing Die Linke, the left. He has been in parliament since the federal elections of 2025. He currently serves as chair of the Committee on Agriculture, Food and Regional Identity. Beyond politics, he is a forester and a nature and landscape conservationist. In the final days of 2025, significant developments are unfolding in German and global politics. At such a moment, conducting an interview with a Die Linke politician like Marcel Bauer offers an important opportunity to discuss the German and European left, current political developments in Germany, and key foreign policy issues. This conversation provides valuable insights into the political climate of our time. And now, here is my conversation with Marcel Bauer. Before we get into today's broader topics, I would like to begin with your parliamentary work. I would like to open with the issues you emphasized during your candidacy. Before the elections, your candidate profile outlining your political priorities on the official party website addresses issues such as child basic income, returning key services to public control, taxing high wealth to fund public needs, opposition to war, militarization, and fascism. Could you please inform us about your current work in the parliaments?
Currently I'm a member of the Committee of Agriculture and Food and Home Affairs. And there I'm working exactly on the points you just mentioned. Firstly, I'm working on a concept of free lunch for every child in Germany. If they go to school or the kindergarten, every child should have access to a free and healthy lunch. And we're working on a concept where this food is not only free, but also healthy and regionally produced. This is not very evident to procure, but like I said, we're working on a concept to realize that.
Yeah.
So that's one of the points we're actually working on, and of course the other subjects I mentioned during the campaign, especially the finances. We have to work on broader regime of acquiring finances, especially from the rich percentiles here in Germany.
Yeah, yeah. And actually, at this point, I would like to follow up with another question. Recently, in the Bundestag actually rejected the Greens' proposal to introduce a tax on luxury flights, which you actually supported. Why do you think a measure with clear environmental and social goals did not pass?
Well, we supported this proposal, but in reality, we think it doesn't go far enough. What we need is a ban on local flights. We say a ban on flights that are less than 500 kilometers is appropriate. Our government did not approve this proposal because they are closely linked with the industry, with the flight industry. And what they want to do is actually ease the burden of taxes on the flight industry, which we say is completely the wrong way. If we look at the situation our planet is in and our output of CO2, we have to reduce that. So our government is still locked in with the industry and with the interests of the capital. All they want to do is maximize profits and ease the burden of tax on the industry.
When you are speaking about the motives of government members, how would you explain, for example, the motive of the SDP? They are also a part of the coalition government. Do you think that they also have the same motive or different than the other right-wing members of the government?
Well, they're in wedlock with the city, with the Conservative Party, and
Yeah,
all they have done for the last 20 years is move back, give up their ground whenever it's the question of our economy is in play. So they will always and always have voted for lower taxes for the industry. What they have done, for example, is they lowered the pension rates in around 2000,
yeah,
and people suffer now from it. So, and what they're now fighting for is a stabilization of the rent ratio. But
yeah,
in reality, they should be making policies for the workers. But they have never found a way in the SPD to resolve the conflict between the industry and the workers. And we are taking clear position for the workers. We say the enormous wealth which our society is producing, everybody should benefit from it, not
yeah.
only the rich.
Yes. Thank you for explaining this. And now turning to a different topic, but we are still in the parliament. You are one of the youngest MPs in the Bundestag and come from a forestry environmental background. How does that shape the way you see politics and your role in parliament?
Well, I would say I have a different sense of urgency about the whole situation we're in. As a society in German, a national society, but also as a global society, we have to radically change the way in which we produce our way of living. And we have to find a new balance with how we exploit nature and exploit humans as well. This has an international component, but also a national component here in Germany.
Yeah,
The so what we're exploiting Germany, the national resources, not in the same way that we exploit the global resources, and we have to find remedies for that. At the climate conference in Belém, now they failed to write a way out of fossil fuels, to find a way out of fossil fuels, and now we have to do this nationally. So personally, I can say I have seen the consequences of climate change in outside in the forests. If you go outside to anybody who works outside every day, they will say it is raining less, it is getting hotter, and if it rains, it comes all down at once. So, and our another thing is it gets springtime is coming sooner every year, and you can actually measure that. Anybody who works outside will tell you that you can see it every year. Springtime is coming a week sooner, or a week or so. So
yeah.
and nature starts changing, but it's not changing fast enough. And we have to find a new balance to be able to sustain our lives in the long run.
Yeah, I understand your point very well. We also feel the very same, the explicit indicators of this problem in my hometown in Izmir, Turkey as well. It is the first time that in this year the local municipality implements some major water saving policies. They take some measures. Basically, in the last 3 months, every evening from 11 to 7 a.m. in the morning, waters are not functioning in the
Hmm.
city. Basically, the water system is interrupted. And it is something that my hometown, especially in this year, is feeling very, very clearly, very explicitly. Um, so I would like to shift our focus to Die Linke now. After the 2023-24 split, your party performed poorly in the European Parliament elections, but quite well in the 2025 federal election. Unlike the newly founded party that emerged from the split, how do you explain this difference between the two elections concerning the performance of Die Linke?
Well, at first, in the summer of 24, our party formed a plan. It was called the Plan 25 on how to become a strong part of the of German politics again, and to mobilize our party base. And after the split, the way was clear to work out this plan and to move along it. And it took some time to mobilize the base. We did large phone banking and to access to talk to everybody, and this took some time. And
Yeah,
also in the public perception, a lot of people thought just waited to see how the Linke will perform after the split and how they will what positions they what stand they will take. And after we started to go to from door to door, we did a lot of door knocking and talked to all kinds of people and about what should change in our society. And bit by bit, people realized, okay, that the left is really serious about doing politics together with the people. And at the last point. The need for a clear anti-fascist party in Germany is very clear, and people resonate with the clarity that the left is proposing, the stance that the left has taken against the AfD, and with the clear commitment to anti-fascism.
yeah, yeah. Actually, your answer also leads me to ask a related question. Is this now a new era of permanent fragmentation in the left? And is the German left still capable of unity, or after the split, how can you actually I can also ask another follow-up question. It just came to my mind. What is the ideological core of the Linke today after the splits? So you are suggesting it is clearly anti-fascist, for example. But what has changed after this split? I can also ask this question as well.
Um, well, I would say we have a newfound clarity on our position where we stand in the culture conflict that the
Yeah,
far right is trying to push on us. The left is taking a clear position with
yeah,
all those who are discriminated against, and
yeah,
that's the difference between the left and the party that's separated from us, because
yeah,
they are meddling with this culture conflict and trying to play one part of the country against the other. The immigrants against the workers who were born here, and
yeah,
the poor against the not so poor. We say the conflict is not between ethnicities or nationalities. The conflict is between classes. There's
yeah,
the rich, those who possess the means of production, and those who have to work, who have to sell their labor to sustain themselves. And that's part of the newfound clarity that the Linke has gained after the split. The second part is like I said before, the clear stance on anti-fascism, and also there again, the party that split from us is they're not so clear about that. They're meddling with the AfD. They're thinking about cooperation on a local level. So
yeah.
they're really a party in the more classical sense that one of the main goals is actually to attain some kind of power in parliament or positions in ministries.
Yes, perfect. Now, I also have a full picture. So Die Linke is now compared to the pre-split periods. It has a more clear political position concerning such issues. Looking beyond Germany now, how do you evaluate the emergence of the European Left Alliance for the People and the Planet? It is also called ELA bloc, and its impact on the broader European left. Has it strengthened representation or deepened divisions? And overall, how would you assess the current state of the European left?
Well, I would say it's really too soon to say, because we will have to see how well cooperation between those two fractions will work out. I can see that there's a few differences in regards to positions about, for example, armament exports, and I can see I can find some truth in both positions, I would say. In Germany, we have Die Linke has said our way, for example, for about expressing solidarity with Ukraine would be to find ways to support the civil infrastructure and deploy targeted sanctions against Russia. And to us, it's completely clear that peace can only be won on grounds defined by Ukraine. And that's the way to go about it. But I can see that positions can differ in certain points here. And in the long run, I think that's one reason for the split of those parties on the European level. But we'll really have to see how the cooperation can work out, because I think there's still a deep commitment that cooperation for the left on a European level is necessary.
Yeah. And in actually many interviews that I have already conducted on this channel, I ask this question, how my guest assesses the situation in the European left concerning coordination, cooperation, and communication among left-wing actors. Perhaps as a follow-up question, I can ask you this: do you think that there is enough coordination or cooperation between left-wing parties across Europe?
It's really difficult for me to say because I've only been in office such a short period of time. But so far on the European level, I have only cooperated with the members of the left itself.
Yeah, yeah.
So personally, for me, I would welcome more cooperation or more the possibility to talk points around to.
Certainly, certainly. Let's turn to another issue, foreign policy and security, and it's a very actual issue in Germany now. Mandatory military conscription is at the center of the political agenda in Germany these days. And actually, I must say it's a great time to speak with a Die Linke politician. What is both your view and Die Linke's view on this, especially for those who may not follow German politics closely? And in connection with the war in Ukraine, what should Germany's security strategy look like in the coming months and years from your perspective? So I have two actually questions here: mandatory military conscription and Ukraine.
Okay, first and foremost, I'm opposing the Wehrpflicht, we call it here, the mandatory military service, with all my heart. Personally, I denied military service back then. We still had it was still mandatory. And what they're proposing, what they have passed now, is the mandatory inspection of all male citizens. And we say the next step will be mandatory military service. And they have passed now a mandatory service. and you can choose between military service and civil service.
Yeah.
But that's only one step towards a mandatory military service. And they have already said this. If not enough people will apply for the voluntary service, military
Yeah.
service, then they will set a mandatory status to it.
Yeah, I read
So,
about it. And
you know, so we
especially
have
from this point of view, it sounds like a transition process.
exactly. It's that's what it is. It's a transition to a mandatory military service, and they don't want to do it in one go. So they've taken this step-by-step approach. And
Yeah.
we are opposing it clearly. And at the moment, we're the only party in the Bundestag, in the German National Parliament, who is clearly opposing it. And this alone shows the clear need for the left, for a unified left, who stands for the workers' rights and for the rights of the youth. Because in the end, it is not the rich and the powerful who will die in the wars to come. It is, as always have been, the workers, as it is in Ukraine and Russia. It is not the rich and powerful who are dying. It is the workers and the poor who are pulled in as conscripts for the army with more severe measures. And to lead over to the other question,
Yeah.
what's needed for Ukraine? Really, it is for the Ukrainians to say, and in a process towards peace, which excludes the Ukrainians, can never be just. So the US, which is a once a liberal democracy, which is being demolished as we can watch it being demolished, and between Russia, with Russia, which is an autocracy, a dictatorship in essence. How is this supposed to be a just peace, I ask? And in the end, which is of utmost importance, Ukraine, before the war, had strong economic relationships with EU, but also with Russia. And this has to be taken in account. If you cut one part of the relationship, it becomes destabilized. So you have to take into account for any solution you propose that those economic relationships before they were there and the cultural relationships they were there. So you have to take that into account if you try to propose anything. The other thing is, personally, I think Ukraine should not become part of NATO. I don't think that would make the situation more secure. What we need is
Sorry, could you please repeat that sentence because I couldn't hear it properly? Ukraine can be,
should not become part of
should
NATO.
not.
I think NATO is a war infrastructure which serves for a bloc confrontation. I think what we need is a system which promotes peace in Europe, but also globally. And that's a very long road toward that. But if I had to make just one point that is essential for Ukraine's peace and stability in the future, it is that a prolonged debt situation for Ukraine has to be avoided. Whatever the outcome of the peace negotiations, Ukraine must not be enslaved to debt, either to Russia or to the USA. If one of those happens, that will be the grounds for a prolongation of the war or by other means.
Yeah, it will be a temporary peace. Otherwise, it will not be a
Yes.
permanent peace in Ukraine. And actually, before turning to another geopolitical space, at this point, I would like to ask again, what sort of role Germany should play in this process at the very moment concerning
At the very
Ukraine
moment, I can
and Russia?
say Germany missed a lot of opportunities to promote peace because the relationship between Russia and Germany once was a lot better than it is today. And by taking the path of exporting armaments, exporting weapons to Ukraine, Germany has committed to the war. So what Germany has to do now is more than ever push for peace initiatives. We're seeing the peace talks right now, but the EU and Germany has failed to take a clear stance on what they demand of as well Russia as well as the US now. And they have never set a red line to the US in regards to the peace talks in Ukraine.
Yeah, yeah. Now, another geopolitical space, the tragic situation in Palestine has generated many different political interpretations internationally, including within left parties. How do you assess Germany's role in this context, and what do you think Germany's approach should be moving forward?
Well, speaking of red lines, Friedrich Merz and this German government have crossed it again and again. The exports of weapons to Israel should have stopped long ago. What is happening in Palestine is a genocide, and we have to name it as that. So all exports of weapons to a nation that is committing genocide have to cease. That's point number one. Point number two is Palestine should be recognized as a nation by Germany to promote, which the left in Germany stands for, to promote peace and a solution of two states with equal rights for all citizens, be it Israeli or Palestinian.
Yeah, yeah. Mr. Bauer, thank you very much for those insights. Now, on a more personal level, when I Googled your name, I noticed that a moment which I would call the beret episode received national attention. You are already wearing it right now during this interview. Could you tell us what happened? Was it an intentional political statement? What do you think this says about political culture in Germany today?
Well, it was not an intentional political statement, I would say, but I am in solidarity with all people who are striving for a more just society. And I would say the Basque people have always found a way to fight for solidarity and more just and liberal society. In the Basque region, there's a saying, "Hubo leyes ante reyes," which means there was law before there was kings. And that's because in the Basque country, they had a way of putting down laws before they had such institutions as kings. They had a tribal system in which they communicated laws. And even when there were kings, they made the kings swear to the laws that the people had made. And that's, in my opinion, the way politics should be made. So, but that aside, wearing the beret in Parliament was not a political statement. It's, I would say, it's a part of my work garment. Coming from forestry, I used to wear a helmet when I went to work, and now I wear the beret when I go to work. And the presidency of the German Parliament, Julia Klöckner, she kindly asked me to take it off because, in her opinion, it is against the dignity of the parliament to wear a hat. And well, I asked for an explanation and I never got one. At first, she said, we have the Hausordnung, the rules of the building where it's written down, and I looked it up and it wasn't written down there. And then she said, well, that's just how we do it here. And I never really got a good explanation why I shouldn't do it. It was just a power move, I would say, of her part. And this is interesting, not because made a big case, she made a big case about it, but it's interesting because she continues to do so. She continues to pull these power moves where she says quite without explanation or reason, this is permitted and this is not. And she's promoting a way of debate which appears neutral, but gives very much way to the right, to the far right, in how they can propagate their hatred and their Hetze, their fear-mongering, I would say.
Yeah. And what kind of reactions did you receive from your colleagues and perhaps even from the electorate? Positive, negative, neutral?
All kinds, I would say. Of course, the question, why did they do it? What was the point of it? Was first the question was asked most. And well, personally, I have worked as something which closely resembles a policeman. Like in Germany, in Baden-Württemberg, we have an institution which is called Gemeindlicher Vollzugsbediensteter, which is like communal police. And at the same time, I was a nature warden. So I had worked with these two things. And to
Yeah.
me, I always worked by the rule: if there is no law against it, do not act. You cannot prohibit someone from doing something if there's no Rechtsgrundlage, if there's no legal justification to do so. So when I walked into Parliament wearing the hat, I had looked it up before, and there was nothing stopping me from doing so. At least it wasn't written. But as it turns out, the presidency of Parliament, she can sometimes decide which is appropriate and which is not. And these things have changed in the past. For example, 50 years ago, women were not permitted to wear robes in Parliament, and men always had to wear ties in Parliament. This has changed, and I am certain that in 50 years from now, people will be allowed to wear a beret in Germany, in German Parliament.
Maybe less. You said 50.
I hope so. I hope so.
Before closing, what is your long-term vision for Die Linke and for the German lefts more broadly?
Well, that's a difficult question because on the horizon we have to talk about how the Linke will behave in situations where they are forced to take part of government, or at least tolerate a government in a minority government, for example. And I would say for Die Linke to first, the most important task is to organize the people. Those who are affected by today's politics, those whose lives are made worse and worse, who have less in their bank accounts, who have more and more worries to organize their day, and they have to work even longer hours. Die Linke has to take their side and has to really go out, talk to them, and work with them. The work in the parliament is only one part of our long road, of the road ahead of us. And only by working closely with the people can we gain enough momentum to truly change the way our society works. And we have to change it. It is not a political goal, but it is a political necessity that we change the way we produce and we change the way we work.
Yeah, yeah. And you are among the youngest members of parliament today. What do you hope your generation of left-wing politicians will achieve that previous generations perhaps did not? I mean, as a young politician, and this is something, in my opinion, by the way, very positive to see people around my age making politics in the parliaments. That's something super positive, actually. But as a young politician, any expectations, any goals compared to the previous generations?
Well, I would say what we really have to do is inspire hope. Because the young generation, our generation, and those that came after us, they have lost hope as well in the political system as in humanity
Yeah,
in its totality. And we have to reclaim that hope and organize the people around it. Because the power is the people have the power if they choose to take it. And it is our task to organize this process. And it's really that hope that we need to communicate, especially the young members in parliament, but also we have to work together with the older members because
certainly.
as we say here in Germany, like I said, they passed a law to they tried to lower the level of the rent ratio, and we say in the left there's no conflict against amongst generations. There's only class conflict.
Yeah, hope, you said. It's one of the key words. Hope and optimism. That's why actually I have decided to create this channel. One of my goals, I can easily say. Mr. Bauer, uh, thank you very much for this interview.
Well, thank you.
As the holiday season approaches and in these final days of 2025, I wish everyone a wonderful time. For more interviews like this one, join me here at the Left Agora by subscribing to the channel. Until next time, let the Agora echo with new voices.